Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to an exciting Friday evening where UltimateE presents M-Sport Battle of the Stars. We're here at Spa-Francorchamps in the Ardennes of the Belgian forest, one of my most favorite iconic tracks. I'm Arjun Ashwath and I'm joined alongside Aditya Patel, the co-founder of UltimateE. Aditya, how are you? Welcome on board.
Thanks, Arjun. Fine, thank you. And yeah, just like you said, it's actually one of my favorite tracks as well. Really looking forward to the race today. Yesterday was super exciting in a tiny little track like Okayama, and I think Spa with all the long straights and all these iconic corners is definitely going to give us one hell of a race.
Absolutely, because we have the same cast of characters, the same format that we're doing, and it's a continuation of the championship that we're running, where the winners of the Tier 1 and Tier 2 categories get to take part in actual real-life racing. This is the only series where we're taking them from the virtual world into the real racing world, where the Tier 1 series wins and M-Sport seat, the Tier 2 series wins a Racing Academy seat with the M-Sport boys as well over a weekend. So it's great to see them going from sim racing to real racing. And I was talking about this with Arman yesterday, and it's great to see what you guys have been doing this side of town, taking it from the sim world to the real world.
Yeah, I mean, we realized once we started, that most of these guys who are in it, they don't just want to be driving sims. Yeah, of course, there are a handful of guys who are more than happy driving sims, but a majority of them, they want to experience what it's like in the real world. And it's unfortunate that because of the lack of access that we've got in the country, with racetracks being just so far apart from each other, most of the guys who live pretty much in the middle of the country, particularly in parts of Karnataka, Maharashtra, etc., they don't have access to these tracks. But when you give them an opportunity like this, it just seems like, everybody wants to jump at it. There's also a bunch of guys who live in the east and the northeast. So it's an interesting mix. They're drivers from all over the country fighting for these seats, and it's what they all do their sim racing for. It's to jump into a real car at some stage in their life and have the opportunity to experience some real world wheel-to-wheel racing.
That's exactly why it makes it so exciting, because we've seen these guys, a lot of these names are very common, and I'm going to take you through them very quickly along with the format and where we are today at Spa. But we've seen these guys race with us the last 6 months, in and out, through lockdown, through unlock, through whatever we've been going through, and now it's great to see UltimateE giving them that opportunity and that push to go into the real world with M-Sport, and it's great to see real world racing coming back to normal as well. But just as I said, we're going to take you very quickly through the format. So we're running now a quick 10-minute qualifying session where these guys can probably do about 3 to 4 laps. At the moment, we're following Sai Sanjay on board. He's setting fastest laps after fastest laps, and of course, that's what he did. That's what he normally does when he's out there as well. And of course, yesterday's race was won by Sai Prithvi and Amith Kutti. Great battle between the two of them, but we are divided into two classes: the Tier 1 driving the GTE cars and Tier 2 driving the GT3 cars. In Tier 1, we've got Ritesh Rai, Sai Prithvi, our winner from yesterday, Amith Kutti, the runner-up yesterday, Varun Shah, Sohil Shah, Tejaswi Shetty, Ankit Roy, Sai Sanjay, Sayee Saran, and Bhanu Teja. And in Tier 2, driving the GT3 cars, we've got Dillon Zachariah, Aditya Iyer, who won yesterday, Rohit Raut, Avinash Gupta, Sabarno Majumdar, who gave Aditya such a run for his money until he made a tiny bit of a mistake yesterday, crashed out. Then Ghanshyam Tiwari, Prasanna Rajan, Gaurav Mathew, Akunuri Abilash, and Surya Prakash. We've got a lot of new names as well in here joining us as well this time around. And of course, we've got a 10-minute qualifying session followed by a 30-minute race start. It'll be a rolling start. A mandatory pit stop is involved. These guys will stop for fueling at some point in time. That's what made yesterday's race, Aditya, very interesting, because those pit stops changed so much around yesterday.
Yeah, a lot changed. If you remember, it was Amith Kutti who was leading the race. At one point, he was in the lead with a fairly comfortable margin, but I think he slowly lost that lead to Sai Prithvi, who was phenomenally quick yesterday. And then in the pit stops, Sai just had the edge over him, and he managed to do the undercut. And when Amit did his pit stop a lap later, he came out behind Sai Prithvi. So it was really interesting to watch in that category. And also the GT3s, like you mentioned, the battle between Aditya Iyer
and Sabarno
it was superb. It was something else. There was so much going on. We didn't even know who to talk about. There was just action going on all over the place.
It's great to see the Tier 1 and the Tier 2 mixing it up on the same track, especially, on a track like Oklahoma, a rather short track yesterday that we had. But today, Spa, 7 kilometers long, iconic corners like La Sauce, Eau Rouge, Lacombe, Pouan, Campus, Pouan, Blanchimont, the bus stop chicane, and it's got rather long straights. So this time out, a little bit of damage will compromise their straight line speed. So these guys have to be a little careful in terms of how they race.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw that, remember, in the 24 hours of Spa when we took part with the UltimateE team. One of our cars had damage early on in the race, and the driver struggled right through with straight line speed. So we can see that in this particular game, the aerodynamics get affected pretty heavily. And, I don't think any of them want that. Of course, for people who do get involved in accidents, they have what's called as... I think it's called a fast pit stop or something like that, where they can jump into the pit straight away from wherever they are on the track, get their car ready and jump back out, but it still loses them a lot of time. So, of course, everybody wants to be as clean as possible.
Absolutely, because we saw Sohil Shah yesterday do this, where he made a little bit of a mistake, lost his bonnet, and then had to jump into the pit stop early on, but lost a huge amount of time. And on this track, much longer track, going to be much more difficult to make up that time. But we're going to jump straight back into qualifying now, Aditya, because we've got now 2 minutes of qualifying left, and at the top, once again, Sai Sanjay, Amith Kutti, Sai Prithvi, the Musketeers, absolutely nothing in it between the two of them. If you look at Sai Sanjay and Amith Kutti, there's less than 7/10 in it.
Yeah, it's really, really close actually. And I think Sai Prithvi, we're watching him right now. No, actually, he's in the pit lane, it says.
This is Ankit Roy that we're following
really Yeah, we're following Ankit Roy right now. Sai Prithvi is really, really capable of being quick. So he's 7/10 off at the moment, but he's still got a lap to go, I think. But says he's in the pit, so maybe he's done with his session.
Maybe he is, but we've still got a minute and a half and odd left. So there is a little bit of time left in it for Amith Kutti to gain if he wanted to. But behind them, the Sai Prithvi, and so the guy is Tejaswi Shetty, Ritesh Rai, great showing by him in 5th place. If he can keep that car up there, not too far off Tejaswi Shetty either. Varun Shah then very close to Ritesh Rai. Ankit Roy is well up there. And then we come into the blue marks. When you see them, those are the GT3 categories, and the GTE is by the yellow little marks by their numbers on the side, the left-hand side of your screen. So GT3 cars then, Sabarno Majumdar showing his class today as well. Now putting that car up in the 1st place. Avinash Gupta then in 2nd place. Aditya Iyer, let's see what he can do from there in 3rd place, because he's got a little... We saw him win yesterday and he was very, very quick. But Sabarno, he did not get off his gearbox all through yesterday. But then we have Rohit Raut in 4th place. Sayee Saran in 5th place. Akunuri Abilash in 6th place. Then we have the rest of the guys, Gokul, Dillon, Prasanna, Bhanu Teja, Sohil Shah, still yet to set times. Oh, it's not reflecting yet, but I'm still waiting to see. But as we go around the last bit, Amith Kutti is already purpled the 1st sector there, and he's not been able to make up enough time in the next 2 sectors. He might just not be able to, but that purple sector in sector 1 might help him now as he comes through the bus stop chicane on this last qualifying lap he's on. He might have a shot to one more, but as he crosses the line, let's see if he does it. I do not think he's going to be able to do it. No, he doesn't. He stays 2nd. Nah, he doesn't. No, he does go a little quicker though, because he's closed that gap by about 7/10 more.
Oh, yeah. By just a little bit more. He does go quicker, but we saw a lot of guys didn't get a time, and I think it's just down to track limits. Gokul Tiwari, Prasanna Rajan, Bhanu Teja, Dillon Zachariah. Dillon was really quick, if you remember, in practice just now.
Dillon was very quick at practice. So I'm wondering what happened to him. Down in 18th place. Starting at the back of the grid, that's not going to be good for him there, Aditya. But as we go through, taking you through the grid and qualifying results as it stands, at M Sport and UltimateE's Battle of the Stars, we have Sai Sanjay starting on pole here at Spa, Amith Kutti in 2nd place, Sai Prithvi in 3rd, Sohil Shah in 4th, Tejaswi Shetty in 5th place, Ritesh Rai in 6th, Varun Shah in 7th place, Ankit Roy in 8th, Sabarno Majumdar, great showing by him, putting the car on pole in the GT3 class. Avinash Gupta bringing that car into 2nd place, and Aditya Iyer right there behind the two of them in this long, tight, twisty circuit with big straights, and he can see what he can do from there. Rohit Raut there in 12th place, Sayee Saran in 13th, Akunuri Abilash in 14th place, Gokul Tiwari in 15th, Prasanna Rajan in 16th place, Bhanu Teja, a guy from the GTE class, was very, very quick yesterday. We are sure he's going to make up a lot of ground from there on the 1st lap alone. And of course, on this rolling start, Aditya, down in the first corner, La Sauce. Yesterday we saw some mighty clean racing, but today, I think it's all to play for.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, in this particular rolling start format on the track in the game, if you remember, La Sauce is in the first corner. The first corner is actually Eau Rouge. Yeah, they do their rolling now across La Sauce. first corner goes up through Radion and Orouge, and that's going to be really interesting because it's a really high speed corner, and it's followed by that long camel straight all the way till the end. It's going to be a lot of slipstreaming going on.
I think all the way at the end of Camel Straight, when we get to Lecombe, there's going to be a lot of chaos. And as they lead him across the line right now, lap one, there we go. A 30-minute race, a standing start we had today. And I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but a standing start where Amith Kutti now has led them. Sai Sanjay right now has led them across the line with Amith Kutti in second place. Sai Prithvi looks like he's kept third place, but Sohil Shah made up a place in fourth place now. Tejaswi Shetty in fifth, Ritesh Rai in sixth, Ankit Roy as we go up through Orouge and Radion, down the Camel Straight. Now we will go as we see Sai Sanjay lead them away. We're right now on board with Sai Sanjay. Sorry, we're on board in the GT3 class with Sabarno Majumdar. Looks like he's lost a place as well to Sayee Saran. Sayee Saran is looking in. Looks like his little thing has changed, but I think he is in the GTE class, not the GT3 class. But there we go, we're on board now. Sabarno Majumdar as he fights really hard. Aditya Iyer as we do through. But Amith Kutti now in second place as we go through. Bhuyan campus. But Aditya, here we go as we settle down now. The first minute into the race and the half a lap left on the standing start, like we didn't predict. We thought it was a rolling start. It wasn't, but he's going to take the inside line. Is he now, Amith Kutti? He's holding Sai Prithvi off. Sai Prithvi, the top three have already broken away from Sohil Shah in fourth place. Sohil Shah is going to have a little bit of time to make up in that beautiful black and purple Porsche stuck in the back. But these three guys right now on an absolute course of their own out there. I think there's a replay right now. I think we're on board with Dillon Zachariah. What happens to him as he goes up or Rouge into Radio? Is he going to go wide? He's just lost the front end. Big crash into the wall, and that's going to cost him huge amounts of time. Dillon Zachariah, not the start he was looking for. He's probably going to pit right now. And there we go. I think it's Amith Kutti is well going wide. Who's that behind him?
Was that Amith?
Who's that? Is that? No, that's Aditya Iyer. No, that was Aditya Iyer. I think he's dropping down the order. And Sai Prithvi dropping down the order as well.
Sai Prithvi has had a spin.
I think Sai Prithvi has had a spin because he's dropped.
Had a spin there.
He's just dropped off our timing series at the moment. So Sai Prithvi, yeah, all by himself it looks like, has had a spin. So Sohil Shah now inherits that third place from Sai Prithvi. I think hopefully our broadcasting get us a replay of it. But right now, up in front, Sai Sanjay, Amith Kutti, still less than a second in it between the two of these guys. And Sohil Shah now 3 seconds behind them in third place. Sai Sanjay setting the fastest lap of the race. Absolutely no mistakes on lap 1. But as we go now into lap 2, into La Sauce, we're coming down the mighty Orouge and Radion. But these two guys are going to have nothing in it. Behind them, I wonder what's going on in the GT3 class. Because Avinash Gupta now is up in a 6th place overall. But first in the GT3 class, that's great to see. Sabarno Majumdar looks like he's lost the lead, gone down in the 2nd place in the GT3 class. Right now in 8th or 9th place, losing another spot to Tejaswi Shetty, who is the GTE class. So there's a little bit of battle now. There's a little... The track rather is mixed up a little bit out there between the GTEs and the GT3 classes. That's Aditya Iyer hard in the wall. We saw that on the start of the race rather, where Aditya Iyer completely loses it on his own after putting that car in 2nd place. Unfortunately, not being able to capitalize on it on the first lap. He's out of the race. He's in the pits at the moment. Bhanu Teja, I think, is out of the pits as well. So both these guys down now in pretty much last places out there. But these Sabarno Majumdar now, he's lost the lead to Avinash Gupta.
Lost quite a bit. Yeah, we see a bunch of guys actually lost out on the start. And I have to point out Ritesh Rai and Tejaswi Shetty, they seem to have got into trouble with each other because the two of them, they lost a lot of places along with Varun Shah, but they seem to be coming back up. But Sai Prithvi, all by himself, made a mistake.
That was not good to see at all. Our winner from yesterday at Yokoyama now making a mistake today. The Pierre Gasly story, as we called it. Ooh, there's a little bump going on now. There's Ritesh Rai, Avinash Gupta, and Ritesh Rai and Tejaswi Shetty all coming together as we go through Bhuyan. But this is not exactly the racing we saw yesterday and today. There's a lot more rubbing out there on this track and a lot more aggressive than these guys are looking at this point in time.
Yeah, the speeds are higher and these guys are just finding it so hard. Ooh, we just got the tail out over there. They're finding it so hard to stay away from each other. But also, they're so close and so evenly matched, some of them. And once they're stuck together, it's so easy to make contact. And we're watching, I think we're watching Tejaswi Shetty, who was having this almighty battle with Ritesh Rai, which was great to watch. And the two of them are in Corvettes, and you can see that being in the same car, they're so evenly matched. But like I was saying early on, they both lost a lot of time on lap 1, and they seem to be now slowly working their way up and trying to catch up with the group in front.
I think the pack per se has sorted itself out because the top 7 now are the GTE class. The remaining behind them are the GT3 class was Ankit Roy, Bhanu Teja making those mistakes early on. Not too good for those two guys. Pretty much back of the field, but the Corvettes, Aditya, as you were talking about them, watching them go around the field, they seem to be struggling a lot more with their rear ends compared to the other cars on the grid.
Well, the GTE cars, for example, they for one, they don't have traction control, and two, if you're in a Corvette, they're not really known for having a very stable rear. So when these guys do put their foot down on the gas, it's so easy for them to lose the rear of the car. Unlike, say, for example, the Porsche that Sohil Shah is driving, or the BMW driven by Sai and Amith, the cars are much more stable compared to the Corvette. But the Vet has that raw power to really, take it down the straight. Like they say on shows like Top Gear, American cars only built to go straight. Not very good when you're trying to take it around the corner.
And especially a track like Spa, it's not the greatest car that fits this circuit either. It's not a drag track either, unfortunately. But as you're saying that, Amith Kutti up in front looks like he's closed that 1.1 second gap. He's now come down to half a second, so he's starting to hunt down Sai Sanjay. There we go. We're on board with Amith Kutti. Beautiful shots of him chasing Sai Sanjay. As we go through the last couple of corners, as we get through Paul Frey, Blanchimont, we're heading up now heading up to Blanchimont and then to the bus stop chicane. Amith Kutti is in the slipstream now of Sai Sanjay. He's so close, and this is for the race lead, the overall lead of the race. Coming in with about 25 minutes left or 24 minutes left of racing. We go 3 laps in. Amith Kutti and Sai Sanjay again. Nothing in it between these two guys. Yes, he had a battle with
so close.
Way too close for comfort right now. But I think he's going to hold on, get to the Camel Straight, and see if we can make that move through Lacombe. But I doubt it because he's got the speed right now, as you can see out of there. Because there's absolutely nothing in it between these two guys.
There's absolutely nothing in it, and the cars are both the same, right? They're both BMWs, so they're so evenly matched. We saw it yesterday.
As Arman called them. There we go. You can see him. He's starting to close up massively now on Sai Sanjay, and he's going around the outside. He's got a brave move. If he can make that move stick now around the inside, Amith Kutti hanging it around. Now he's got to be pushed a little bit wide. It's going to cost him a bit of time now. Hit the barriers of the gravel trap he goes. I wonder if that was a rather legal move there because he got massively pushed off the track by Sai Sanjay there. And there we go, there's a replay of that. You can see Amith Kutti, he's hanging that car around the outside, and then, he just got squeezed. That was rather rough racing. Sai Sanjay. Oh, who is that? Is that Varun Shah going off? That is Varun Shah. The Sai Prithvi now making another mistake. Sai Prithvi, that's the second mistake this race that he's made. But I think this time he got pushed off by Varun Shah there because Sai Prithvi then is gone off track again. I'm pretty sure we're going to get a replay of that once more. There we go. Aditya, take us through this one.
I think Aditya's insight there's an issue there, but it's Armania, and that was just a racing incident there. I mean, you could see they were side by side, and they just had. Unfortunately, Sai was on the outside, and he had to give up that corner. But he tried holding it out, and they touched, and the only way to go was out onto the gravel. But luckily, there is some damage. But luckily, he's able to continue, and he's still holding a top 5 position because remember he won yesterday's race. So it's all about scoring points. They still have to make a pit stop. And we saw Amith make a mistake as well earlier, so there's still a lot to play for. But it's all about eradicating those mistakes and just keeping it tight and keeping it consistent.
Absolutely, because there we go, Tejaswi Shetty again. This is the battle that we're looking at. Ritesh Rai, Tejaswi Shetty, all getting mixed up in it again. Ritesh Rai hanging around the outside, capitalizing on that little mistake.
That was Tejaswi who made the who made the move because I think Ritesh went wide. Coming out of the right hander went off.
Oh, that was my bad. That was Tejaswi who made the move. And Ritesh now following him. There we go. We see the replay of that right now. But Arman, Ritesh Rai, the last couple of days, he's been giving us through yesterday and today, he's been giving us some great entertainment racing with the big boys here.
Definitely. I mean, like I said, I mentioned it yesterday as well. The scale of improvement we've seen right from April when he got into sim racing to now. He's right up there and he's consistent with the top 4 and top 5. I think as he gets more consistent or just more comfortable in the first few laps, he'll be a regular challenger for a podium.
Oh yeah, if he does, like you said, if he's been consistent lap after lap, he's all he's got to do is take. Sai Prithvi's made another mistake. I can see him dropping down the timing screens again. So Sai Prithvi, something's not right with his race today, but on board now with Ritesh Rai as we go through the Camel Straight. Is he going to get on? Is he going to get into Tejaswi Shetty's slipstream and make that move? As we go into Lecom, it's just a little too far back at the moment. But as we go through right now, I wonder what's happening now in the GT3 class, because it's quieting down a little bit that side of town compared to yesterday's race, Arman, where Aditya Iyer and Sabarno Majumdar gave us an absolute cracker all the way from the get-go. But this time out, there seems to be a lot. It seems like things have settled down a lot more, a lot better this time out in the GT3 class.
Well, I don't think they're very settled because we're looking at this. The Merc coming into the pits with a lot of front end damage, so someone who's gone off badly there. But if you just look at the timing screen, you have Avinash Gupta in the lead, and he's followed by Sabarno, who's having again another solid race. Consistency is key because his competitor Aditya Iyer, who won yesterday's race, is running at the back after a couple of incidents. So Avinash unfortunately had a bit of bad luck yesterday, so his opportunity to score as many points as he can. But I think in terms of the championship points, it's Sabarno who has the advantage there in the tier 2 category.
Absolutely, because if Sabarno now finishes up in second place, he's going to go into the lead of the championship, because Aditya Iyer at the moment languishing down in 8th place, so it's not going to be great for him. He's not going to score too many points today. So Sabarno, that weekend of Racing Academy, a weekend in Arman's M Sport Racing Academy, looking rather good for him right now with 2 more days of racing to go. But at the moment, Arman, I think, is that Sabarno? And yeah, that is Sabarno. I wonder who this person's gone into. Yeah, that is Sabarno that we're following on board.
Oh, I think that's Gokul. Ghanshyam Tiwari.
Ghanshyam Tiwari.
And it's unfortunate for Sabarno.
Oh, that's really. We were just talking about him and full of high praises. The commentators curse Arman. Unfortunately, it's struck again. We need to stop doing this constantly. But that's now given. Prasanna Rajan now is up there, and Sabarno, you can see, he's carrying a lot of damage in that car. It's going to lose him a lot of downforce and straight line speed, Arman.
It's not as bad as I expected, to be honest. But yes, there will be some deficit in power. But remember, we do have a fast repair, so if he does decide to jump in the pits early, he could undercut people and jump in the pits early for a pit stop, and then get the
beautiful done as well. He's gotten the second place back again, but he's lost a lot of time to Avinash because Prasanna Rajan went a little bit wide at La Sauce.
It's not yet done. As you can see, he does have a deficit in top speed, and Prasanna's
and that shows. It shows because they are in the same cars, they are in the same Ferraris, Arman, and you can see what a difference that makes because Prasanna now in a clean little car just blasted down through the Camel Straight. That's Sai Saran, sorry, my bad. Sayee Saran. And Sabarno. So Sabarno in 3rd place, Sai Saran in 4th place. Both
Anjan, you were right. I think, that's exactly what it was. But if we can get back to the leaders now in the GTE class, because again, like we remember, Amith tried making a move and he went off while going to Lacombe, and there you see him running wide into the bus stop zone while trying to overtake Backmarker, one of the GT3 cars. Unfortunately, that's only going to make him lose. He's lost 2 seconds in the bus stop there. So this looks like, Sai is a lot more comfortable. You see Sohil Shah in the background there, so he's closing up on Amith. We have 13 minutes left. Could this we end up seeing a race for second place? Or?
I think we will, because there's only about 4 seconds between Sai Sanjay and Amith Kutti. There's a pit stop to go, and this track is long, so these guys time their pit stops and the undercuts right. The undercut could work for these guys because the gaps are, the top 3 are all covered by about 10 seconds right now. We're still not even through the halfway mark yet, so I think it's all to play for at this point in time. There's still a lot left, but a lot of these guys, as you can see, are carrying huge amounts of damage. We're on board now with Prasanna Rajan, who's now following Sabarno Majumdar and catching up rather quickly with that damaged Ferrari.
Yeah, and look at Avinash's lead. He's got a 15-second lead over Sabarno, so he's just gotta keep it together and not make any mistakes and bring it home. We're at 14 minutes past into the race, and there's already been so much of drama, really, and so much of action that it's been such a wake-up call from yesterday, Anjan. That yesterday was much more calmer. I think just being the first round, everyone was quite disciplined, but today they seem to be all over the place.
Absolutely, because yesterday they weren't as aggressive as they are today. Today you can see their elbows were really out today, and they're really fighting for every little inch in the racetrack, and they're giving no quarter to each other. Of course, these guys in and out. I mean, I think that is this Subaru? Yeah, this is Subaru. No, Arman, as you said, and Prasanna both in the pits as we called it. Subaru making that early pit stop. Sabarno now making that early pit stop. So let's see if he can make this count, because he's going to come in and put in some absolute stonkers of laps, Arman.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, I think he's got to try and just finish in second place, because a 15-second lead is a bit too much to try and hunt down. But he's got third place Prasanna, who's right on his tail, who's coming out of the pits right behind him as well. So I think that should be their focus right now, to just put his head down and not make any mistakes and try and bring the car home where it is, in P2. You see,
I think you've got Sayee Saran, who's behind him as well, who's trying to just. Also, Ankit Roy, who's just trying to blast past him. I think that was Ankit Roy in the GTE class. Yeah, that is Ankit Roy in the GTE class, who's just gone past Sabarno. But Sabarno now coming out into second. So if he holds his lead, it's good for him, because with the championship, he's still nowhere close to over. It's rather wide open. We still got 2 more rounds of racing left, Arman.
Oh, definitely. I mean, with Avinash, if he takes the win and if Sabarno finishes second, yes, he'll have the lead. But we still got 2 more races through the weekend, and as we've seen today, a lot can change. Just reading the sticker at the back of at the back of Ankit's car, it says no brakes, and I think that sticker, and I think that motto is what's pushed into the back. I think that braking bit of the first lap has got him in a lot of trouble, really. But yeah.
Yeah, it has. It's definitely put him into a lot of trouble, because he's now sitting all the way. He's not sitting all the way at the back. But unfortunately, if he can make it count, I mean, he's still quite a while out from the guys ahead. Almost a lap behind the guys ahead now, 55 seconds behind. So he's still a lot to do. But we're on board now with Dillon Zachariah, who's got himself into a little bit of a battle now with Sayee Saran. And Prasanna Rajan, who's about 14 seconds ahead. But Dillon Zachariah and Sayee Saran now battling with each other as they go through. As we go through Bhuyan. But Arman, Dillon Zachariah, he had a little bit of a mistake in the beginning, but now he's coming to the pack rather well.
Anjan, I just want to know which BMW they're in the middle, who's the GTE car that's got in between these two guys. Is that Amith's car? Because it looks like it is.
It looks like Amith Kutti's car there, yeah, but it does definitely look like Amith Kutti lapping these guys.
He's obviously made a couple of mistakes, because he seemed to be all over the place in the previous couple of corners. But yeah, getting back to this battle now, you've got Dillon, who was so strong in practice, but then I think he didn't set a lap time in qualifying because of maybe track limits, and is now trying to fight his way back. But he also had an accident on lap 1. You're fighting unbelievable. I mean, there was no need for that from either of them, and they've just pushed each other wide. Luckily, there was so much of runoff, there was so much of space. That's going to be brought up with us to us later.
That's a rather high-speed corner. I mean, a rather high-speed corner through Blanchimont. Oh, he's driving into the pits now. Is he, Dillon? Dillon is diving into the pits. He's carrying a bit of damage as well. He is, but Sayee Saran and Dillon Zachariah, both of them not very happy. Sohil Shah looks like he just might capitalize on this.
So we're just being told by race control that's Surya Prakash who's driving in Sai Saran's profile. So that's actually Surya Prakash at the wheel there.
Well, now I know exactly why he did that to Dillon Zachariah. There are no surprises there, what he's done to Dillon. Absolutely nothing in it, but Surya Prakash, now we know where he's been hiding all this while in Sai Saran's profile. So yeah, we've got on to you, mate. But Sai Sanjay now out in the lead right now, because I like you call it, Amith now. Amith Kutti is now diving in the pit lane, which is going to lose him a little bit of time, a lot of time, because he's carrying huge amounts of damage. We did see him go through a couple of corners, but Sai Sanjay now up in the lead now. He hasn't pitted yet, but 30 seconds is that lead up in front ahead of Varun Shah in the BMW.
Yeah, but the gap that he's got a full pit stop in him, right? So he's going to come out, I think, in the lead again with the gap that he's got to second place. So he's got that safety zone cut out for himself. As you see, Amith coming out of the pits now. Let's see what the gap is once he's out at the end of this lap, and we'll be able to assess where he come out, or how close, how far behind side he would be after the whole round of pit stops get over.
In all of this, Arman, I think Sohil Shah making that early mistake, pitting early. I wonder if he's got enough fuel to carry him towards the end of the race, because he has already pitted. He's 12 seconds behind Varun Shah. He has a chance to finish his race in second place at the moment.
It should be enough because we did increase the fuel percentage, the minimum fuel percentage level for the GT category to from 30 to 40%. So a one stopper will be enough. That wouldn't be a problem. So it just depends on his tire wear and whether he'll be able to keep it clean. And he might be in for a fight with Amit basically, where he probably might steal second place from him. But I still feel like Sai has got this in the bag.
Sai barring no mistakes, there we go. He's in the pits now, as you called it. So I think Sohil Shah, Amith Kutti all need to put in some absolute monsters right now to see if they can make up any amount of time to Sai Sanjay, because he's miles ahead of these guys right now. But I think Varun Shah needs to pit, Ritesh Rai needs to pit, but behind them, everyone looks like they've pitted, barring Aditya Iyer, who's made a couple of mistakes, still needs to pit. But Sabarno now, Arman, has pitted and come out 8 seconds ahead of Prasanna Rajan in the lead of the GT3 class. So I wonder if Avinash has made a mistake, because he's lost almost a minute there.
I really hope we can get a replay here, because Avinash has definitely made a mistake.
3:26, that's the lap time he's put in, so he's lost a minute and a half.
You can see from having a 15-second lead, he's gone to being 17. He's going to be 27 seconds behind Sabarno. So that's a
big mistake.
Yeah, I don't know I just hope we get a replay of that.
Oh well, our broadcaster. There we go. Avinash Gupta. Here we go, on his own. Absolutely nobody in front or behind him. As he comes to that corner, he's gonna lose him at the front end. Watch this out, and he's completely lost it. But it doesn't look like he's gonna lose him 27 seconds of time, Arman, because that's a lot of time to lose on a tiny little spin like that.
But I think he was just out of the pits, and this plus on your outlap. And maybe there were a few more incidents, but it's a hell of a lot of time to lose, Anjan, and it's cost him dearly. If there's a win, he's just thrown out of the window there.
Absolutely, because right now there's one man smiling out of that visor of his is Sabarno Majumdar now. This is the second shot on the second day to put that car in first place now, Arman, if he can.
I think this was for the fourth time we're watching a very damaged Ferrari of Dillon Zachariah.
This is Dillon's car going back.
He's just having such a miserable outing, unfortunately. I think he just need to take a couple of deep breaths and try and just bring that car home.
Because we've got Nürburgring up tomorrow, and that's not a track you want to be sitting on and falling asleep on, because it's such a tight, twisty circuit. Insane little track that we've got tomorrow, Arman. But coming back to today,
a lot has been mixed up in the GTE category to be as well. I mean, if you look at it, Sai Sanjay made his pit stop and now is leading. He's got a 16 second lead over Sohil Shah, which we expected. But then you've got Sai Prithvi, who's made his way back to third position ahead of
Varun Shah up in fourth, Amith Kutti
as well. So Amith has lost a lot. He was running comfortably in second. He's now found himself in fifth. Sai Prithvi, who had all those struggles where he went off twice in the beginning of the race, has now found himself in third and in the position to score some healthy points and maintain his championship lead.
Absolutely, because if he does maintain the championship lead, because he didn't start very well off the front of the grid, especially because we saw him having a couple of trouble. We saw him having trouble at the start, but he's made his way up there rather well right now. And I think with about 8 minutes to go, he's catching Sohil at about a couple of tenths every sector at the moment. Around keeping a track on those timing screens. Who are we on board with right now? I think our broadcast has got a Sohil Shah. He made a mistake there. Sohil just going a little wide. Through Blanchimont, but nothing much to worry about. Amith Kutti, there we go. We're on board with him now. 5th place. Not what we expected, did we, Arman?
No, I was just keen to figure out where they lost time. Because we were still running comfortably behind Sai, but there have been a few incidents that we've missed as well. I think, Anjan, because especially when they. What we see is, especially when the whole pit stop cycle happens, and then when they catch the GT3 cars, the tier 2 cars, and they're lapping them, a lot of people get stuck in traffic, and aren't able to manage it well, and that's where we see the big time loss really.
It's unfortunate because Amith Kutti has definitely lost huge amounts of time. He has the speed, that's for sure, but he's lost a lot of time in those pit stops. Like Arman mentioned earlier, Dillon Zachariah making 3 pit stops. There we go. I think this is like a replay with Amith Kutti. This guy, who's the BMW? Ooh, it's Amith Kutti bouncing across the track, is it? This
is early in the race, Kanjan. We saw this. This is between Sai.
We did.
Sai and Amith, but this wasn't the issue why he lost all that time. It was much later, I feel.
Aditya Iyer has gone back in the pit stop now, dropping way down below Dillon Zachariah now. Dillon with 3 pit stops, making up another place now in 6th place, unfortunately. So I wonder what happened to Aditya Iyer. Did he lose it on his own? Oh, we just got the replay off, but unfortunately, I think Aditya Iyer again making another mistake. Something just goes on with Aditya Iyer towards the end of the races, where he's just not able to keep his cool. Because yesterday was such a great showing by him, but today he's just not able to keep it there. And Sabarno now making no mistakes. This is 5 minutes in, with 6 seconds ahead of Prasanna Rajan Arman. He's got everything to lose at this point in time.
Yeah, I mean, he seems pretty consistent. Yesterday, we saw how consistent they were. So I don't think consistency is an issue. I just think that when they come into traffic, they need to keep their nerves together and just focus on themselves and let whatever's happening around just take place, and just continue with their own race. I think that's the only thing they need to do now. For 5 minutes, to be honest.
It's definitely not something they're looking to do right now because Arman, these guys have been so aggressive around this circuit, the Spa-Francorchamps today. I haven't seen nothing like it yet. Because yesterday, Okoyama, we were praising them just before we got on to commentary about how great the racing was, how clean these guys have kept it through. But today, we saw their real true blood come out in the elbows. They were out all the time.
Yeah, we praise them a little too much, I think, Anjan. That's a problem. At least they provided us with a lot of entertainment. There's been a lot of topsy-turvy things that have gone on right through the field. But one guy two people who've held their nerves together and have driven really well up to now, Sai Sanjay and Sabarno, the two categories, the two leaders, they've just been at it and been the stars of the field at Spa at least. The recovery drives have been from Sohil, Sai Prithvi, and Prasanna, I would say. These guys have made their way through the field in their respective classes and have put themselves in a podium position.
I mean, we've got about 3.5 minutes of racing to go. Absolutely nothing there left now in racing. 30 minutes just flown by with Sai Sanjay now in the GTE classes leading them. Sabarno Majumdar, the GTE 3 class leader. So Sai's got about 18 seconds to Sohil Shah. Sohil, great recovery drive like Arman just said. I made a mistake early on, but came back after that to capitalize on an early pit stop and come back straight through. I think we're seeing a replay of Dillon Zachariah. He's getting locked in a little battle with I'm not sure who, but he has taken the inside lane. Well, nicely done. He's just been given that position's just been given to him at this point in time. But Dillon Zachariah making no mistake there. The 3 pit stops there he's made today. Unfortunate for Dillon Zachariah. He's been rather quick at practice. So I'm wondering, I think over a course of 30 minutes, Arman, keeping a nerve in a race is very different from practicing and driving in circle, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, remember when you get into qualifying, you can't because the minute you put 4 wheels off, your lap is not counted. So clearly, in the 10 minutes, in the 4 laps that they had, not one was within the limits. So then that puts you at the back of the grid. And then, going to the race, if you get stuck in an incident coming through Eau Rouge or onto the straight,
lose a lot of time,
the pits again. So you just put yourself back all the time, and then you get desperate, and then that leads to more mistakes. So you just gotta take it one step at a time and just plan each session out.
Absolutely, because these guys, I mean, it is a long track. It's a long lap. It's a 2 minute 18 second lap, Arman. So there's a lot to play, and there's a lot of corners, there's a lot of changes, lefts, rights, straights. You can fall asleep on some of them in the GT3 cars, for sure, like we saw at the 24 hours of Spa. But that being said, in 30 minutes, it's a sprint to the line at the end of it, and there's so much to play for, especially with pit stops in the play. And that has changed a lot for us. I think Rohit Raut's made a mistake and had a little spin. We've lost that. There's a replay of him. There we go. Rohit Raut made a mistake coming back on a track. But as we go now into the final 1.5 minutes of this race, we're on board now with Sabarno Majumdar. He's got now Ankit Roy.
He's slowing down.
I mean, he's got Ankit Roy was overtaking. The GTE class was overtaking him, so he's okay there. Sabarno hasn't run out of fuel. Yeah. But this is exactly what I was coming to, Arman, is what you picked up on. This is where yesterday we saw people who we thought were driving such brilliant races run out of fuel at exactly the same point with a minute to go.
That's true, Anjan. So you never really know, if slightest miscalculation could really be a heartbreaker. But let's hope that doesn't happen to anyone. I mean, they've all driven a strong race so far. Let's hope that they all get to the checkered flag. We only have a minute left to go, so probably just one last lap. Where Sai is coming straight right to the bus stop now, so he's probably going to start his last lap.
Absolutely, yeah, because this is definitely going to be the last lap now. And Sai Sanjay is going to take us around it. Brilliantly controlled from the way the checkered flag dropped. He had pole position, controlled the grades from the beginning. Sai Prithvi, unfortunately, making a couple of mistakes. I mean, Sai Prithvi, yes, is going to make a couple of mistakes, but great recovery drive by him to come up in a third. But Sohil Shah there in second place. Fantastic drive by Sohil Shah to come up in his second place now in the GTE class. An early pit stop, making complete advantage of it. I'm really looking forward to seeing if he's got enough fuel to get him across the line. There we go. We're on board Sohil Shah. That beautiful purple and black livery with his lights on, Arman.
Oh, definitely. I mean, the RS has a beautiful car. Remember, we drove for 24 hours at Le Mans. I mean, it's good. I mean, it's great because Sohil always somehow gets into an incident, but he's been a lot of help. He's helped ultimately. I mean, with all the liveries and setting up all the sessions and things like that. But it's good that he finally made it on the track at the end of practice, and I think it's a good result as well. I mean, I'm sure he'd like to be He would like to be closer to the first two guys in the beginning of the race. But nevertheless, I think he'll come out happy at the podium. Let's see what happens as he comes into the bus stop here. And he loses it
on his own. Yep, he has. But Kutti not having a good day today at all now.
Not at all.
Not at all a good day for Amith Kutti. Down in fifth place because Ritesh Rai, that's going to give him a little sniff now, Arman. And Amith Kutti on this last lap, but I wonder he's not going to be able to do it. I think it's a little bit of too much of a gap between two of them.
18 seconds.
I think Dillon has gone back into the pits again. I think there's a little thing that flashed up saying Dillon Zachariah pit exit, but I don't know. I think Rohit Raut and Dillon Zachariah in a little bit of a battle. Dillon making up another spot in the third place, so he did fourth place. So he did have the pace in the GT3 class. But Sai Sanjay now, we're on board with him as he comes around the last couple of corners. As we go through Stavelot, Ploff, Paul Frere, and we're going to come very shortly into Blanchimont. But Arman, what a drive from Sai Sanjay today. Absolutely controlled from the get-go, making no mistakes, and a monstrous 21-second lead ahead of Sohil Shah. The pack behind him was rather rough and aggressive today, but Sai Sanjay, absolutely no mistakes as he comes around the bus stop chicane for the last time, and a checkered flag now waves at Spa for Sai Sanjay as he wins the second race of UltimateE's and M Sports Battle of the Stars here at Spa-Francorchamps. A brilliant race.
Sai Prithvi has made another mistake. Varun Shah's in third place as we speak.
Yeah, he has.
Sai Prithvi out of the race. I don't know whether it's internet connection or what. It'll be interesting to see.
Heavy round of fuel.
We don't know.
It's possible because Sai Prithvi did make a rather early pit stop with that damage, so he did. I don't know if he had enough fuel left in him or not, because he's definitely gonna drop down the field right now. But Sohil Shah then takes second place. Varun Shah, super drive Arman by Varun, the first time I think we're seeing him on the UltimateE podium here at M Sport. But brilliant drive by Varun Shah to come up in third place now on the podium. Amith Kutti losing out the podium by just a little bit. Fourth place for him. Make not his day today, but I'm sure he'll come back stronger tomorrow at the Nürburgring. Ritesh Rai, super drive to finish up in the top 5 now. Excellent showing by him. And who is that? Is that Sabarno Majumdar? Who's Sabarno now finished the race anyway, so it's fine. But Ritesh Rai in 5th place, Tejaswi Shetty in 6th, Sai Prithvi then. Huge mistakes. He's going to drop him all the way down the order, unfortunately, to 7th place. Ankit Roy in 8th. And in the GT3 class, Sabarno Majumdar takes the spoils. He was denied it yesterday. He was denied victory yesterday, but today makes no mistakes, capitalizes on all the mistakes completely happening around him, and a fantastic drive by him, Arman, to take that GT3 class.
Definitely. Sai and Sabarno were the stars of their classes, they did the triple basically: pole, fastest lap, and race win. Really good stuff there, and really setting themselves up well for the championship.
Absolutely, because this is going to give both these guys, I think, now the championship leads in their respective categories going into round number 3. That will be tomorrow, Arman. We will come back to you very quickly with our times, but as we're going to quickly run through the top 3 podiums of each category, Sai Sanjay, Amith Kutti, Sai Prithvi take the spoils in the GTE Tier 1 class. Sabarno Majumdar, Avinash Gupta and Aditya Iyer making his way up to 3rd place. So we missed that because he seems to have a great recovery drive in 3rd place at the moment in the GT3 class in Tier 2 with Sayee Saran behind them. We're still going to wait to see what's going to happen because Dillon Zachariah not having a good day today. Aditya Iyer, is that Aditya Iyer? No, that's Avinash Gupta, Prasanna and Sabarno Majumdar in 3rd. Yeah, 1st, 2nd and 3rd. But Dillon Zachariah not having a very good day today. either. And I think, Arman, there we go. The race results for race number 4, Tier 2. That's what I was waiting to see. It's Sabarno Majumdar, first place. Prasanna Rajan in second place. Avinash Gupta in third place. Rohit Raut in fourth place. Aditya Iyer in fifth. Let's see what he can do tomorrow, because he's got a lot of work to do to catch up now to Sabarno Majumdar, who's leading the championship. Dillon Zachariah had speed in practice, but didn't start the race from the back of the grid. 3 pit stops in 1 lap down. That's not, almost a lap down. Not a great showing by him, but he'll come back stronger tomorrow. Akunuri Abilash, Gokul Tiwari, and Sai Saran in 9th place. But Arman, great little battle that we had here today. I'd like to see they got a lot more aggressive today than they did yesterday, and I'm wondering what we've got in store for us at the Nürburgring tomorrow.
Yeah, I think, being such a fast circuit, such long straights, and then you come into heavy braking zones, and you also got so much of tarmac as runoff, so they kind of take advantage of that, and get a little too ambitious, and the problem is when it's such high speeds, when you go off, the damage is going to be high, so they pay a high price for that, and that's exactly what we saw. So Nürburgring again, I think will be a little more controlled. There aren't that many runoff areas. If you run off, you're going to be in the gravel. So I think there'll be a little more discipline, I feel, at the Nürburgring.
Well, that's all we've got for you, ladies and gentlemen. You've heard it from Arman and from myself, Anjan Ashmat. This is Sport into UltimateE's Battle of the Stars. We're here on this Friday evening where Sai Sanjay has just won the GTE class in Spa-Francorchamps, and Sabarno Majumdar has won the GT3 class. We're looking forward to tomorrow, where we will be at the Nürburgring. Sorry, Arman, you were saying.
Sorry, before we call tonight, we've got Sohil here with us in the comm box. Just before we get some other drivers. Sohil, are you here with us?
Yep. Hi. How are you?
You finally got a podium there.
Yeah. Been a while.
Again, you got caught up in some first lap drama. Talk us through it, and then how you made it back.
Yeah, so I think at the start of the race I had a little bit of contact with Tejaswi Shetty, but then that got sorted out as he got into more battles with the cars behind. And then I was in clean air for like the pit stop phase, and then I see Amith Kutti in front of me in the pit stop with me. And I quickly make sure that I get the correct thing selected for my pit stop, and I try and get out as soon as I can. And it worked out pretty well. Made sure I didn't make any major mistakes. Went wide a couple of places, but that just to make sure. So I was a bit slow on the straights as well. I think I was losing about half a second on the straights alone because I didn't do much practice. And so trying to make up for it in the corners, extending everywhere I could, and making sure I'm within the incident point limit at the same time. It worked out pretty well.
That's good. It's good to show some points, and I think this closes up the gap with the championship all around. Especially with the new winner again, and then Sai Prithvi not finishing, so he lose a lot of points there. Amith not finishing on the podium as well. So just evens things out, I think, and sets us well for the ring tomorrow. I think that's it from us at UltimateE tonight. Anjan, you want to just call it?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us, and we will see you tomorrow at the Nürburgring here at UltimateE and M Sports Battle of the Stars. Thank you for joining us. Good night.